I'm not picking up anybody's. I'm not getting anybody's message. All right, guys. Boom. Okay. That was a demo from Black Candle from our good friend Jason Thompson, who's on here sometimes and checks us out. I got the chance to investigate with him not too long ago down in Atlanta. Great guy. If y'all ever get a chance, get on there and look for Black Candle and check out some of their songs. I'm waiting for Chad Harlan to boot up here. For some reason, it's just not letting him boot. But we are here, and I am waiting for Chat, and Chat is not really working for some reason. I have no clue why. This is driving me nuts. First time back, we got bugs. I hate bugs. It just worked fine, just not 10 minutes ago. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to type, see if I can get everybody in there. Host Chad, see, make it public. I don't know what's going on here, but I am not getting my chat to work. I can't get Chad in. And we are not starting off 2020 very good. But just as soon as he gets in here, I'm going to explain what Chad does. It's a little different than what goes on with the paranormal. And it's really interesting. So you need to really check it out and listen to what he's got to say because it's really cool. And I'm trying to see what's going on here. There we go. Everything should be good on my end. We're just waiting for the boot and see what the heck's going on. But guys, while we're waiting, we got all kinds of things that's going on as I scratch my ear because of ETs. We've gotten rid of the green screen for a little bit. We went back to our original screen, as you can see, what we started with, and some of the stuff in the background. And that's just for temporary purposes. We'll see here in just a few minutes or a little later on what's going on with the green screen. It's a big major setup. I wasn't really in the mood to set a major setup with a green screen and break it back down after we get done. But I still don't see chat for some reason, and I don't know why. Uh, Something's not working right here, and it's driving me nuts. It's public, and I don't see it. I miss everybody, and I want to see everybody's comments and stuff, and I can't see nothing, and it's driving me nuts. And poor Chad, he's trying to get on there, but I don't. It's not letting him boot up. But check this out, guys. Paranormal Highways is going to be around and around. We are going to some cons, some conventions, and as you see up here on top, the mystical market, some of the stuff that I've been doing live and things like that to boost our audience and stuff like that. Not only that, to give you all some choices on some of the things that you might want to see on here and what's going down. Just like I said, we had Shay, we had the last mystical market. We had Shay, we had oh my goodness, we had him on the podcast. There he comes. We got Chad locked in now. We see him. Oh, all right, we got Chad in. I'm going to bring him on, and I'll let him explain what he does in the paranormal, and let you guys listen. And for some reason, I am not seeing my chat. You're going to let me do it off the. All right, producer's helping me out a little bit, but here you goes, guys. Chad Harlan here. Everybody, give him a big warm welcome. And 3, 2, 1, bam! There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great, my friend. I'm glad to have you on. Sorry about the long time waiting to get you on. A lot
Oh
of
no, I
things,
appreciate it.
a lot of things have happened between December to now, and it's actually drove me nuts. There we go. I got to see what in the world my peeps are going on, and I can't see nothing, and that drives me nuts. Back it up just a little bit. Of course, it is delayed, so that's going to drive me a little nuts. But yeah,
Right.
there we go. All right, Chad, I want you to explain to everybody what you do because I don't want to screw it up. And you know how my brain is when we're out here anyway. So I'll
Oh, I
let you
rely on it.
explain. Yeah. But I'll let you explain what is going on and what you do. Okay.
Okay.
Go.
I'm a
Go ahead.
okay. I'm a paranormal investigator. I do pretty much the same as you do. Where I come from, a little bit of a different approach is that my day job is I'm a fraud investigator. So I pull in some of those tools and tricks and training that I've learned as a fraud investigator to apply that to paranormal investigation. Um, Mainly because as I look online and see people posting evidence and the stuff they picked up during their investigations, there's so much animosity and argument about is it real, is it faked, is it actually evidence, is it not? And so that's kind of where I approach it from is try to help people understand, the criteria that from a fraud standpoint, if you were doing like a criminal investigation, what kind of evidence would actually pass muster and how to
Right.
protect it and save it so that if you do ever have to prove, if you get that prime piece of evidence of a full body apparition walking up and shaking your hand, you don't want somebody to accuse you of faking it. So I talk about, how to preserve that and save it to a way that minimizes the chance of you being accused of faking it, um, and how to, so that you can actually prove to somebody what you got is real.
Right. So, in other words, the I mean, it's kind of like debunking too, I guess what you want to say. But then you got some people out here, which a lot of people on here should know and listen to this, especially new people coming in and not saying everything is paranormal, you know, because the people that are seasoned, they're going to sit there and go back and say, that could have been this, just like you do.
Yeah. And I try not to do that a lot when I talk to people and see people, because everybody's evidence, they were the only ones there. But I try to present it from a standpoint of, if you don't want to be questioned, you're always going to be questioned. I shouldn't say it that way. If you want
Right.
to rebuff anybody who's trying to question you, here's some tips and techniques you can do to collect and preserve your evidence. And here's some other methods that are equally as valid, and as we all rely on EVPs and recordings and photographs and videos, and these days those are as easy to fake as anything. That often you're better off with. You have to have backup upon backup, I guess is the easiest way to say it. If you've got a good video, you need to have three other videos of the room showing all the other angles, so that you can show that it's not a shadow. And you need statements and interviews with the people that were there while it was going on, and make sure they all agree, in order for it start to add up to being good evidence. But kind of the biggest thing I talk about some is how to preserve that digital evidence so that it can't be altered. So that if somebody does come back and talk to you, and say they think that you photoshopped it or used an audio editor, you can come back and say, no, here's the metadata from the files that shows when it was recorded, where it was recorded, and what equipment I was using, and show that it wasn't altered. And there's certain ways you can preserve that so that it can't be altered later. Now, you may take a second copy of it and run it through enhancement software, but you still want to have that original that's protected from alteration.
Right. What's some of the things that you think that you said that where they can't alter? What can they do? They got the original copy. Of course, they're going to make a duplicate so they can keep the original. But
Yeah.
what are some of the things that they can go through to make sure that they, you know, got everything down pat and cover all of their bases?
The easiest thing to do, and what we do on my day job, is if we did a recording or a picture or a video, we burn that to a physical CD, and close that session. So when you burn something to a CD, it gives up with two different options. You can either leave it open to add files or close the session. Once that session's closed, that file's protected. You can't change that anymore. So if you have that original copy and all the metadata on that file matches the day, time, depending on what device you're using, it records different metadata, but that freezes the metadata so that it can't be altered. Now, you may put a copy on your computer that you're going to run through editing software to try to enhance it and see if you can get a better angles or clear up the picture, but keep an original on the CD burnt.
Okay. So keep it original, even though if you do play with it, at least you got that original to go back to, and
Exactly.
people
You've got
and
it
people can see
protected.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Has there been
Uh,
any? Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just say that's the biggest thing with digital. There's other techniques that you have to look at, because if you're going to do interviews, you also have to be very careful about how you do your interview, so you're not leading or suggesting any ideas into it. So you need the interviews to go with the digital, with environmental readings. You need to know what's going on. The best way to try to back all that up is also document, date, time, what the weather conditions were, anything that could possibly affect that situation.
Awesome. The thing I was sitting there thinking of is, like you said, the photoshopping. That's so easy to do these days, and you can put anything in it whatsoever.
It is. It is, and when you look on the internet, you can't tell.
Right.
But it's much more difficult to edit a photograph and change it in Photoshop or some other software without affecting the metadata. So that's where you can go back, and if somebody's questioning you and you've got that, sterling piece of evidence that you want to try to show the world, you can come back to the original file and say, no, here it is. I haven't changed it.
Right. So basically, what would you tell everybody besides the metadata and burning it on the CD? What would you tell them to make sure that they do when they're getting this evidence and posting it?
If they're going to post it, it's hard to do anything other than what they are doing. But I'd say the biggest thing when you're posting it is to make sure you're explaining all of the other variables. If there were two other cameras in the room that caught different angles of it, post those with it if you want to, really. Because so many times I see the pictures and all I can ever comment on is it looks interesting. I don't know enough about it. So if you actually want to put something out there and try to talk to people about whether or not it's evidence or not, you have to give them all the information. Give them any
Right.
other angles that were going on. What were the atmospheric conditions? Who else was in the room? Was there other people in the room? What were they doing at the time? So it's really kind of the sum of all the evidence instead of it's almost impossible to look at a picture somebody posts and tell if it's good evidence, a ghost, real, edited from just a picture on Facebook.
Or faked. And see, that's the problem. Don't
Yeah,
you think that's the problem with a lot of people that's going out in the paranormal field, especially, I'm not going to say that all the new people are or some seasoned people are, but I'm just saying get your evidence legit. Don't fake anything because
exactly.
it's gonna come out. I mean, it's going to end up to where somebody's going to say, "Hey, that wasn't real." But you may get your glory. You may get your glory for a little while, but in the same sense, it's not going to work the same way. You agree?
I do. Yeah, it's there's no benefit to faking it. Now, what I see even more than people faking it is people who, the cliche is orbs,
Oh,
but any sort of shadow or reflection, people come back with immediately. Well, I saw a ghost, and I've got evidence of it. And it's wishful thinking. That's what usually they're there for. It's
right.
not it's not ill intent when they're doing it, but it puts them in a situation where they can be questioned and at the very best all we get is a picture where we can look at it and go that's kind of cool, but it doesn't really show us anything.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, but exactly what you're talking about is a good place at the Thomas House at the White Hallway. I've seen 5 people take the same picture and get the same blue or green orb. Now, that's been debunked because underneath one of the shelves that are there is a mirror, and it's in the same spot every time. So that's what I was. Go ahead. I was just saying.
Oh
I
no,
know what I
that,
know what you're saying there, and you've been to the
that's it.
Thomas House.
Oh, that's probably it is. It's not probably. It is definitely my favorite place now. Um, but no, it's same thing. When I've been at the Thomas House, there is pictures upon pictures upon pictures along the wall, and I've had multiple people come up to me and go, "I got an apparition in this picture," and all I can say to them is, "Well, that's a neat picture, but who else was in the hallway? What else was going on? Because it really looks like it might be a reflection to me."
Yeah, that's you got a popping going on there. You moving around a little bit. Stay still,
But I can.
Chad. I'm still trying to call you Chris. Stay still, Chad. Look, it was something that's going on, but ever since I met Chad, I've always tried to call him Chris. And I don't know why. And it's nuts. I mean, my brain's not functioning right. It never has functioned right.
There's too many Chads when we see each other, so.
But that's true. There is. But I've got to remember, Chad. But go ahead, Chad. Now, is there? I'll ask you this, and we'll let some of the people ask, and we'll go to a break real quick. But when we come, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go to the break, and right after that, you think of this. Has there been any big situations or big debunking or, kind of fraud things that you may have caught online, or, what somebody's posted or anything like that. But I'll go to break real quick. You think about that and we'll go from there. And our break just starts with me anyway. All right, guys, this is a quick break. We're going to go on there. If you are interested in any kind of paranormal experience, or I should say, any kind of ultimate paranormal fan experience, anybody from seasoned people, ghost hunters, to rookie ghost hunters, check out www.ghosthuntweekends.com. They have many places that you can go to, many places like the Thomas House we was just talking about that you could stay at all night long. But check it out, get your tickets, and come down and see us. Now, another one is Spirit Art by Shay. If she was listening, she'd probably pee her pants. But Spirit Art by Shay, she's on Facebook, Spirit Art by Shay, or you can get a hold of her, Shay Smith, on Facebook. And I think that's really the only way that you can do it. And a new one that's going to pop up, if you can see up above my head right there, is Central Kentucky Mystical Market. The second weekend of every month, we are downtown at 6th Street. And hold on just a second, I'll tell you it is 501 West 6th Street. I've got to get them my Brian. Come on, Chad, help me out here. You come down there. But we are there second Saturday of every month. That is Central Kentucky Mystical Market. And if you want to get in contact with them or like them, it's Central KY mysticalmarket.com, www.centralkymysticalmarket.com. If I'm not mistaken, that's their Facebook too, isn't it? Oh, I lost your voice. You there, Chad? Move your head. You there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Good deal. All right. Now, so much for that. I did have something else that was going on, but we'll think about that a little later. Go ahead on what I was asking you about. If you found anything that, may be the bogus thing or everybody's so hype about online or something like that, that you may have caught yourself that, is really, nothing but maybe a fake picture.
Like I said, pictures that are posted online, it's really hard to tell. Additional information. Don't know what else was going on in the room. And I really try not to debunk a lot because I wasn't there. I don't know what else was going on. True. But what I try to do is present it more of here's why this doesn't stand up on its own. It may be a perfect piece of evidence, but by itself, you just don't have enough information to make a determination.
I agree
so
with you.
I usually try to approach it that way. Instead of trying to call somebody out, I'd prefer to educate about how to do it instead of call people out for what they're doing. Now, if I ever thought somebody was just trying to fake it to make profit or to rip people off, I might get a little more involved at that point. But people who catch something, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt and explain what they could do to improve the quality of the evidence and support it, as opposed to calling them out on it.
Well, I agree with you because you don't want to bring somebody down that maybe they may have caught something, but we wasn't there, kind of thing. And it's like, I understand what you're saying. It's like you really want to say, just like you said in the beginning, get all your data together. That way, if somebody does ask you a question, you can say, okay, Joe Bob was over in this room, Mini Me was over there, in the basement. I was here. There was, we was all alone. We were back to back. It was, the moon was shining at that night. It was a full moon. Temperature was 84 degrees. There was no kind of reflection in the room. So that's what you're getting to. It's part of investigating.
Now, you can't look at something as a snapshot. You got to see the whole picture.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. That's it's like what we do sometimes we there is a difference if you, I think you'll agree with me between ghost hunting and investigating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ghost hunting's more for curiosity. Whereas investigating, you might be trying to help a client, that sort of thing, where you want to really document it to be able to present to them what's going on. And I'll add all this stuff that I'm talking about. And I mean, you've been out with me. I don't take equipment most of the time when I go by myself. So you have to look at why you're doing what you're doing to determine what your motives are. If you're going out, like the Thomas house is a great example. When I go there, it is all I'm looking for my personal experience. I want to see what's going to happen, what's going on. I have no interest in some sort of evidence I'm going to try to prove to the world that the place is haunted. It's all about my personal experience. So I don't even take equipment, much less document it in any certain way. It's
Right.
all about what I feel and what happens to me.
Well, just
Now that's
oh, sorry, Chad. Just like
oh no, go ahead.
I say a lot of times that the best piece of equipment you have is your own body and
Yeah,
what you witness, because you have nothing really to prove to anybody. You know, it's what you've seen, it's what you heard, it's what you felt. You agree?
absolutely. The best evidence for me personally of anything that occurred is I've heard disembodied voices. Now, there is virtually no way without a multi-camera setup that you could ever prove that that was evidence.
Right.
Because you would have to have every angle to show who else might be in the room, make sure you'd have to prove that there was no radios in the room, that somebody could uh, be radioing it in that is picked up. So an EVP of a voice without knowing who else is in the room and what else is going on, an EVP is cool, but it could have been the guy in the closet that was saying something that you didn't even know was there. Um,
that's that's the bum hiding out in the closet, hoping you don't open the door.
exactly. Uh, But yeah, so a DVP, all you have is voices on a recording. You don't know who was there. You don't know what the conditions were. Now, if you pair that with multiple angle videos of the rest of the room, you might be able to prove something. But even in a disembodied voice, it can't prove that I didn't say something if the camera's not pointed at me. So
Right.
it's hard to level that up as proof. But for me personally, the best experience I've had has been a disembodied voice.
Right.
Um, because I heard it and I know what else was going on in the room, but I can't present that to anybody else credibly.
Right. But see, that's the thing about it is a lot of people don't understand. We're not going to go out here and buy 50 cameras for every angle. I mean,
Yeah,
we're already spending enough money to get into these places to investigate, and we're not buying 50 cameras to do every angle or, because the next thing you know, after you do, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the next thing you know, they're going to say, okay, well, you should have used a thermal. You should have used a full spectrum. You should have done this. You should have done that. It's like, okay, I've got five angles covered of everything that I'm doing, and you're still telling me I should have done this. But you're always going to have your skeptics anyway, which is good
absolutely.
because you're going to have I'm with you. If something happens, I want to make damn sure that either somebody else is witnessing this same thing that I do, or it's being videoed and there's no way possible that it could have been anybody else. That's what
Absolutely.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Go ahead,
Yeah,
my
and the
man.
other the other part of it, and I've had this conversation with multiple people, and everybody has their kind of own take on it, but we don't know what a ghost is anyway, or a spirit. So it doesn't matter how our little lights are blinking in the room we're in or whatever tool we're using until we know how a ghost can affect it. We don't know what's causing it. We can
Right.
speculate. We can make, uh, we can use it as a clue as to where to investigate more. But It'd be like using a voltmeter when you don't know what electricity is. All you know is the dial on that thing's moving. You don't know why.
Right.
It's, it's the same thing on spirit boxes and EMF meters and any of that. All we can know is that something's happening. Something's some sort of field or energy is affecting that box, but we don't know what field or energy it could be until we can define what a ghost is made out of.
Right. Wiggle your wire real quick. It's starting to pop again. Nope, you went out. There you go. Up.
Now,
There you are. There you are. There you are.
I just took the microphone off.
All right.
As
long as we don't get no echo.
Let me know.
All right.
We've got all these tools and equipment to make determinations and show us what's going on and where it's happening, but we don't know what's affecting any of those devices. So we can use that as the EMF meter showing that there's a surge in energy over here. So maybe we need to go over there and do some additional investigation to see if we get any sort of reaction. But we can't walk out of there and go, I got these really high EMF readings and a EVP, therefore I know there's a ghost in there. You just can't make that jump yet.
Right.
But the only way to get to that point is going to be for all of us to keep doing what we're doing, being out there, investigating, trying to get some sort of clue as to where the next step goes. The technology is moving so quick now that we're moving in the right direction, but we're just right now it's all just anecdotal stuff, but it's still fun. So get out there and do it.
Most definitely. Well, it's like you said, with the equipment being kind of, I would say, manipulated. You've got a walkie-talkie, you key it up, your REM pod goes off, your EMF meter may go up a little bit, your K2 may go off. So you got to be careful of what you're doing. Yeah. You got to think of everything that happens. It's like, oh, my K2 went off or my REM pod went off, but at the same time, Johanna over there decided to call me on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, it's fun getting excited. It's fun finding things, trust me. But, I'm with you. The best thing that I've ever happened to me is when I had no equipment out and I just sat there and listened and watched. And I've seen it, and I caught this, whatever it was. But I can't say that everybody else did. But I know what I saw or what I heard. But go ahead, man. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you have to define what your purpose is, like I said. So if your goal of going ghost hunting, paranormal investigation, whatever level you're looking at is for your own personal experience, you got to really look at what equipment do you need for that. If your goal is to collect evidence that you're going to try to prove that ghosts exist or explain to a homeowner what's going on, there's a whole different process. So when we talk about all this data collection and preservation, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying you got to do that on every time you go out. It's look at what your goal is for that trip. Like you said, my norm, if I'm going out to do something for me, is I might take an SB7.
Right.
But I don't pull any other equipment out. It's just, to me, whatever I collect on the other stuff is just not going to raise to a level that proves anything to me. Even a EVP, it could be a radio wave. We still haven't ruled all that out as far as most of this equipment goes. It could be an errant or a radio wave. It could be some sort of glitch in the machine. But if I see something with my own eyes, I can verify that to myself. And so I'd rather spend my time focusing on the environment and what's going on and not worry about 15 pieces of electronics all around me.
All right, I got real quick, Chad. I got Kat Maria. She has a question. How do you feel about EVP responses that are direct to the question?
obviously that raises the credibility on it. But kind of like what I was saying, I mean, it's certainly going to be something I really enjoy listening to and looking at. But until we can define how a ghost makes a voice on a recorder, it's hard to say that it's proof. Now, what it would do is tell me that wherever I caught that is probably someplace I need to spend more time investigating because there's something going on there that I want to spend more time finding out what it is and how it's interacting with me. But
Right.
in and of itself, it's hard to look at that, and especially as a third party. Now, to you, that's going to be really cool evidence because you know everything that was going on in the room and in the location and who was there. Um, from my standpoint, if you put that online, I don't know if there was somebody standing right behind you who said that, and maybe you didn't even hear them. So it's just hard from an evidence standpoint to look at that all by itself and say that even though it's a direct response, um, it's hard to hit those criteria with just that. No, if it
Right.
was that and you've got three eyewitnesses that have given signed statements that say there was nobody else in the room, nobody else made the noise, every step gets you a little further down the road.
Right. Well, direct responses are really cool because I mean I've actually got direct responses in a lot of places, and I'm pretty sure you did too. You've well, you don't really use any equipment, but when you
Yeah,
do the EBVs.
I have over the years. Yeah, I've just got to the point now where I'd rather experience it. But yeah, the direct responses are great, and it's intriguing. And when you go back and do that evidence review, whether you do it in 30-second spurts and listen back or listening to it the next day, it's amazing to sit there and hear it and know that maybe there's something near you that's trying to communicate with you. Um,
Right.
it's just like I said, whether or not that's the level to prove anything to a third party, that's a whole different question. But as far as it being really a great experience, it absolutely is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%. Because just like you said, it goes back to what we're talking about. It's you and yourself, and you're catching this evidence, and you don't really have to prove it to anybody. You've already
Exactly.
heard it, you've already seen it. You just have to say, okay, I know it's there because it it doesn't matter who you talk to. It's always going to say, listen to this. It's like, oh, that sounds like Johnny down the street. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
Johnny was never near us when we was there at 3 o'clock in the morning and caught this. So, that's the thing about it. Everybody's going to question you.
Yeah.
And, but that's part of it. And that keeps the people that are really doing investigation, not hunting, but investigations honest, because you're working harder to make sure that you're getting that evidence and having all the data with you, and boom, you can show this and say, hey, look, I was there, this dude walked across the damn room. you
Exactly.
know
Yeah.
that's the thing. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I think the most important thing out of that is that every person has to look at themselves and what their goals and hopes are when they get into it. If
Right.
if they are somebody who wants to prove that there's a spiritual realm and there's a ghost that may inhabit certain locations, they're going to be held to a higher standard, and they need to go into it planning that. If there's
Yep.
somebody who has a spiritual desire to try to interact, that's you personally. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, and you don't owe anybody an explanation to what you find and what you experience. Um,
Right.
so just try when you go out there to understand what we see, and I think it's backing off a little, but because of the TV shows, there's a whole lot of people that went out there thinking that they were going to catch all this stuff on electronics and prove to the world all these hauntings, and they're just they don't have the training, they don't have the equipment to do that, but they do absolutely have the training and equipment to walk in and have a profound personal experience in a location. And
Yep.
so focus on what your goal is, why you're doing it, and make sure that you're equipped and trained for what you're doing. One of the things that is really simple that I see lacking in a lot of teams is interview training experience. Like I said, I do actual uh, fraud investigations as my day job. And as soon as I bring somebody on, I send them off for a week of training on nothing but how to conduct and structure an interview. But
Oh
the
wow.
ghost hunting teams will go out and they'll interview the witnesses. They'll interview the people in the house, in the residence, or whatever. And very few of them have had interviewing training about how not to lead the witness and how to structure your questions to make them tell their story the right way. So it's a small thing, but it's something to think about when you're going out and doing this. Is what other trainings from other uh, occupations might be beneficial. I can't tell you the number of people I've talked to that I'm talking to them about the pictures they're taking, and certainly I'm no expert, but I start asking them some questions about their video camera or their still cameras, and they haven't read the manual. They don't know anything about it, which I'm bad about not reading manuals either. But you don't know what features and effects that your camera may be bringing to this if you don't completely understand how it works.
Right.
So there's so many, things. Like I said, it depends on what your goals are in when you get into ghost hunting or paranormal investigation. Just make sure that you're looking at all the options of ways to expand your knowledge and field, and never quit learning. I mean, certainly, I learn all the time. Every time I go out and hang out with you guys, I learn stuff. Um,
Well, that's the thing. We learn off of you, you learn off of us, and it just keeps everybody honest. But
Absolutely.
I don't mean to cut you off and everything. But the thing of it is a lot of people got to understand if we stick together and we start getting a lot of this data down of I mean it's crazy, but if you think about it, if you do investigations, you do moon, okay, the full moon, it wasn't a full moon, it was a half moon or lunar moon, it doesn't matter, it was this temperature outside, this happened, blah blah blah. I mean everything that you possibly can, we can start taking all these theories and start making them facts, but we got to stick together and come together and do that. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Collaboration is going to be the key to making progress in this field. Um, and I think the fact that there's a lot of locations now that are opened up to the public and allow people in, that's going to push it. There's the fact that there's people just in locations all the time because they're always open up and they're always letting investigators in, especially the people that are working there, the hosts, the
Right.
guides. They're going to start being able, as time goes by, to put together unified theories. And once you start getting more unified theories, you can get testing done. You start figuring out ways to test it and start looking at patterns that may be going on. So the more investigation that's going on, the better chance we have of advancing the field.
I agree with you 100. All right, we're going to go to our next break and last break. But check this out, guys. Don't mean to cut you off there, Chris or Chad. See, I done called him Chris again, Chad. Oh God! But there was Phil Mass was on there. I'm going to say we're Courtney Peterson. Hey, what's going on, Jamie? Miss you, girl. Kat, miss you. Glad you guys are back. Oh, let me see real quick. Brian Gibson, hello, brother. Well, Castro Milo, hello. I'm sorry if I screwed up that name. That's my bad. Becky Evans, hello. Sorry, I'm going to do this real quick, Chad. Hello. Uh, there's Rita Gamble. She's on there. Hello. Lexi, hello. I said hello on there. Samantha, hello. And many, many more. Thanks, guys, for getting back on with us. I appreciate it a whole freaking lot. It's been a while, and I apologize. But let's get back to the commercials. Look, guys, if you are a rookie or if you are a seasoned investigator or just a ghost hunter, you might want to check out www.ghosthuntweekends.com. It's your ultimate paranormal fan experience. We got tickets on sale online at www.ghostfestweekends.com, and things just falling all over the place. But check, we're going to have Chad on here, another Chad on here, Chad Moore. We're going to have him on here to shout out for the 2020 season. We are going to be in a lot of places at all this year. We're in Florida, we're Missouri. Florida is actually coming up in February. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that one because there's a lot of things going on here that I need to take care of. But check them out, www.ghosthuntweekends, your ultimate paranormal fan experience. Spirit Art by Shay. Check her out. She's on Facebook. She is a psychic and she gives good readings. And I'm trust, there's many, many more out there, but I only know Shay as much as I know her, and she gives it to you straight. So Facebook, Spirit Art by Shay, or I think Shay Smith's on there too. And just above my head, if you check it out, it is 501 West 6th Street. Every second weekend of the month, it's the Mystical Market. Central Kentucky Mystical Market. You also should have seen some of my live videos that I ran. And I tell you what, it's very interesting. I mean, it's not just, mystical like you've seen. I've done the foot massage, the foot detox, and actually I felt a lot better. That was really weird. I am not going to tell you what she found in there because it scares the hell out of me what she found in there. But there's more than that. The dude that made the Ouija boards, there's a guy that takes a picture of cameras. I'm trying to have him on next month there, and it deals with your aura. There's candy, there's jams, there's people that make things. I mean, all kinds of readers. There's a lady that I'm going to talk to, and I forgot what she said she was. Damn, Chad, I don't ever forgot what she said, but she was a really sweet lady, and she was detoxing too. I told her she was going to catch gangrene, and her toe was going to fall off. But I can do that now because I've already done it, so I can tease. But check that out. If you all get a chance to get out to the Mystical Market, get out there and check it out because there's so much there. You might catch us there as many times as possible, and I'm pretty sure you'll catch Chad there and ask Chad some more questions. Chad loves being there just like I do. All right, now we will be at some of the cons. We're looking to be at Scarefest and have our own booth this year. Plus, we're trying to be a sponsor at Scarefest this year. We will be at, like I said, the Mystical Market. We're looking to go down to Knoxville. We're looking to see, go to, oh my gosh, my producer's not here. And I forgot what it was called, but it's in Knoxville. And it's actually, Chad, if you get a chance, you got to go down there, man. It's fabulous. It's great. And I forgot what it was called, but I will let you know what it's called after I figure it out. My wife's probably going to find out here in just a second. But we're trying to get to a lot of places so we can do a lot of cons. We're trying to get more people to watch. We're trying to get more people to subscribe. Oh, speaking of subscribing, I am able to do YouTube now. So, guys, if you have not got on YouTube, this would be a YouTube viewing with a share to Facebook. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get about a month, and I'm going to try to get everybody to switch over to YouTube so they can get the notifications. That way, when I share it to Facebook, they will already have the notifications. But we will go to YouTube. My little site that I do now is YouTube ready, and I can do multi-cams. So I'm going to start working on that, and I'll probably screw it up. But that's all that I got to say about that. CreepyCon. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much. CreepyCon. That place was absolutely fabulous. CreepyCon in Knoxville. We will be down there, so anybody close, come down and see us. But back to Chad. Chad, my brother, tell us a little more. What do you got going on in that brain?
Well, like I said, to me right now, the biggest thing and the most interesting thing is personal experiences and getting out there and seeing what I can. You know, I've been to Waverly a bunch of times, and frankly, haven't had a lot of experiences there. So one of the more profound things that has happened in the last couple of years, and I was there with you, is every time I've been to the Thomas house, I've had profound experiences. Um, and it's intriguing me to get out there. I've spent so much time over the years using various types of equipment and trying to be techie about this thing, and I'm
Right.
really now just looking for places that I can go and have personal experiences. So that's kind of where my mind is now. Um, so it's more now about what's happening to me instead of trying to prove what's happening in the world. And
Right.
frankly, it's gotten a lot more fun that way. So
Oh yeah. We've
uh,
always had a blast when we were around. I mean, that was fun.
yeah, Thomas House, like I said, I've gotten some several disembodied voices, direct response disembodied voices, and that's the kind of stuff I haven't had really occur other places I've been. Um, I've been working with some clients too, so on some residential stuff. But the main thing that's really drawing me right now into this field is looking for the personal experiences and just enjoying it and having a good time and seeing what happens and how it
Right.
happens. And not worrying so much about the tech, but I maintain the passion of going out and talking to people and telling them, how to protect their evidence. Like we talked about, I'm not interested in debunking what they've done, but I
Right.
want them to be in a position that they can defend what they've got if they need to.
I agree with you. That's as it's the whole thing about it is, and I love that you do this because a lot of people, I think they veer off track. You agree with me? They want to
Yeah,
catch that ultimate thing.
yeah, I think they get so focused, and I was guilty of it. I am guilty of it. They get so focused on tools and tricks and tips
Right.
and how to use this brand new piece of equipment that came out last month. And by the time you're sitting there setting up three pieces of equipment and waiting for your eyes to adjust again, you may have missed four or five things.
Right. I agree.
So that's one of the reasons, like I was talking about, that it's important to understand what your goals are. If your goals are to have a personal experience and experience a paranormal event, you may be better off not spending all your time on all the tools and tech and really focus on what you are experiencing at any given moment
Get
and the people you're with.
right. I see what you're saying. It's like get the feel of what's out there first before you start getting down to the technical part.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen it. I've been to a lot of places that are group ghost hunts, and you see people, this is their first ghost hunt, and they're pulling out K2s and $300 recording units and night vision cameras, and you're like, this is your first one. You don't even know if you're going to come back,
Right.
and you don't know how to use any of it. Why don't you just come and have a good time, relax, and try to experience something?
I agree with you. I don't mean to cut you off, but you just reminded me of something. Check this out, guys. This is something new that I've started. I've been asked by a real good friend of mine. His name is Kyle Cobb. He's been on here. Uh, and Chad just reminded me of it about what he's talking about in the different places and things that's going on. I have started what you called it's a paranormal hub. All right, I've got people that have come in, asked me, and actually Kyle sent me some things saying that they need help. All right, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I can't be in, you know, New York and Philadelphia and stuff. And I've actually got a case that's going on right now, and I'll tell you in just a second. But I'm looking for groups, and of course, I've got many groups on here, and of course, just like Chad, I know he would tell me straight up if I say, Chad, can you go over to this place and check it out? He would tell me his honest opinion and what's going on. That's what we need. We need investigators, and we need because I'll tell you, I've got one going on in Pennsylvania. Lady contacted me. She says she needs help up there. I can't make it there, but I do have a person that's Chesapeake area of paranormal. He's only 2 hours away. Now, I do have some people that I have in mind, just like Trinity Paranormal of Long Island. I would ask them if I've got something from up there. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to do a paranormal hub because Kyle is getting overwhelmed and he needs help. And what I can do is where I've got so many people on here, but I need legit, I need answers. I will dispatch you. I will talk to the people. I will make the case file for you. I will do all that. And you answer, well, it's not really an answer, but you talk to me. I'll talk to the people there unless the people there want something said to them while you are there. Then we go on to the next step. But the thing of it is we need investigators. I'm talking about everything. Of course, if anything's up in Long Island, I've got Trinity Paranormal of Long Island that I would pop in there and say, hey, look, I need a good investigator. Cat, Chris, Phil, they would rock on. Chesapeake Area Paranormal, they're just 2 hours away from where this one is. I'm getting the information on him. He'll be up there in a couple hours and do that. These people have been hounded for years. And this is what I hate. Investigators going in, not giving the client any answers. They have not said a damn thing to them in over 6 months of what they caught or anything. That's not what I want. I want somebody to reply to me within a couple of days, a team to reply to me in a couple of days. That way I can say, okay, I know that Trinity Paranormal up there in Long Island has a psychic, or they have a medium, or they have a kind of like a demonologist. I say, send them in and then give me some information. But it's not about demons. It's about, I think sometimes in the Chesapeake area paranormal, they'll find out, I think it's somebody that's lost. But anyway, I'm not taking. I'm trying. Sorry, Chad. I'm not trying to take away from you, and we got plenty of time. Uh, but the thing of it is, why did I get caught? What the heck? I got called a dummy. Okay, but anyway, let me stop with that. And if anybody wants any more information, if you want to be part of the team, I need you to inbox me and tell me your team name, what you have on your team, and where you are located. Because I'm telling you, the paranormal's out there, and poor Kyle, he's so overwhelmed. You see how tired he is all the time, Chad. When you see him, I mean, he's exhausted. But I'm going to get back to Chad and let him finish out what he's going to say and uh, anything else that he wants to say. But the thing of it is guys, get in contact with me, inbox me if you want to be part of the crew, and we'll go from there. All right, Chad, back to you. I'm sorry, brother.
No, I'll add that that's an incredible resource, and thank you for working on that. Certainly, any way I can help out or anything I can do, I'm happy to. But yeah, I know Kyle is getting flooded all the time, so it's great that you're putting together a resource to help out and a resource for people who need help. Um, it's always, and especially people who aren't as immersed in this field as we are, they don't know where to go. So giving them some
Right.
options of who to contact and where to get in contact with people is an amazing resource. Thank you for working on that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, okay, I'm not always at home, and a lot of people understand that. But I do get a lot of questions. It's like, Chad, I need you to run over to such and such place, X Maple Lane or whatever. Find out what you can find out. If you can't find out anything, we'll take the next step. But come back to me, talk to me, and tell me what it is, and I'll get a hold of the client and say, look, we really didn't get anything. I said, but I'm going to send somebody else in there because we are going to get answers for you. If you feel like that you've got something going on, we are going to find what's going on. And that's what we need to do. That's what everybody needs to do. We need to stay together. Stop all this fighting. It's no need to. We need to love each other, man. That's what it's
Absolutely.
about. We need to
Everybody
love each
doesn't have
other.
the same expertise. So
Exactly. Do you think I would be mad if Chad walks in a place and he catches a video of an apparition? Hell no, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to
yeah,
go give him a hug and say, brother, you're the best. You done good.
yeah.
That's what
And
we wanted.
entities maybe, and like I said, we haven't proven anything about any of them, but they may be intelligent. So there may be somebody they're drawn to interacting with. So just because one group of people or some person doesn't experience anything or catch anything doesn't mean that somebody else can't come in and work together with them and take a different approach or a different try, or maybe it's just a chemical or an energy thing where there's a different reaction.
Right.
So it's important, like you said, everybody works together and everybody helps each other. I mean, I think all of us on our investigation side, we do it as volunteers. It's not like you're losing money if somebody else comes in and helps you on the investigation. It's an ego thing for some people, but I'd much rather find out what's really going on than worry about whether or not I'm the one who caught it or not.
Exactly. Because if you take what was going on and you compare it with somebody else that's 3 blocks away, it may be the same damn entity or the same spirit or, whatever you want. It may be doing that 2 blocks. It's happened.
Yeah, and that's why tracking things and databases and people communicating with each other are important because I may have got the phone call to go to Main Street and you may have got a phone call to go to Broadway, but we're picking up on the same stuff. And if we're not communicating and talking, then we're never going to make those connections.
That's exactly right. But see, that's the thing is keeping in contact even when you're doing interviews. Because if I kept in contact with you and you're saying you're getting something, I'm saying, well, Chad, I'm getting the same shit over here. You
Exactly.
know, and then we start comparing. It's like, okay, what time did you get yours? Okay, what time I got mine? What happened? Okay, that happened here. That's what we need to do, man. And in this garbage of people, like you do the stuff. Stop all this craziness, man. Let's do the real stuff. Let's do the real stuff, man. If you catch something, post it. That's fine. You agree with me? But you're going to have questions. Let's stop all this fake shit. I'm sorry.
And don't get mad about questions. I've seen so many people get
Yes.
so torqued because somebody said, what was going on in the next room? Or,
Right.
is it possible this was a reflection? Or maybe it was a light flare. You have to
Right.
understand if you're going to post something, you're going to be open for questions. But the people who are doing the questions, keep in mind that may be your evidence next week. So be respectful of whoever you're asking questions of. It may
That's
be,
exactly right.
it may be that it doesn't rise to a level of proof, but that doesn't mean you have to be rude or abusive about it. You can say, it's a neat picture, but I don't think we can draw any conclusions from it.
I
Um,
agree with you.
and be respectful because maybe next week somebody else is going to catch the same picture and you're going to start putting some stuff together.
Exactly. Because if it, just like the Thomas House and that green orb that we see in the white hallway, it's the same place. They take the picture at the same place and it's the same orb. But it's one of those things. It's like, and we figured it out. We took the mirror out, took the picture. There was no orb. Put the mirror back, took the picture. The orb was there. So
Nope.
it's like that's how it is, guys. You've got to work on everything. Love you, Chad, man. We are gonna have you on here again because, dude, that was awesome. And if you think I took up too much of your time, please tell me. I am so sorry, but I got fired up tonight, just like my brother Chris said.
It was great. It
I
was great.
really
Appreciate you having me. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties I had on getting on.
no. Look, my watchers—they're the greatest people there ever is. They go along with it, and they go straight with me. They're like, "Hey, man, I can't hear." I mean, but they are straight. But they have not said anything whatsoever. But that's been great. But dude, I tell you what, your interview has been awesome. Check it out on YouTube. I'm going to throw it on there. When we get done here, I'll put it on. But I love you too, Chris, brother. I'm glad to see you on here. Yes, I started an hour earlier. The thing of it is, people get tired at 9 o'clock. But
I'm
Chris,
with them.
Chad, brother, I'd really appreciate your information was knowledgeable because it makes me think when I go back out and even when I'm leading a team or whatever, it does make me think. It's like if I can capture where everybody is at the time, that what happens, what the weather was, what the moon was, that's part of the investigation. Thank you so much, man. I'm pretty
Thank
sure
you.
a
I'll
lot.
see you out there, man.
Yeah, like I said, check out the comments, because there's a lot of people in there that really, thumbs up to you. They love the interview. I love the interview. Love you, brother. And like I said, everything's going great with us. And well, I won't say super great, but it's all right. Slowly, but we're getting on. But everybody, I think Chad Harlan here. Everybody, if y'all have any questions, Chad, where can we get in contact with you?
Facebook is the best place, or ckharlan66 at gmail.com if you have something you want to shoot to me directly.
One more time on that email.
ckharlan66 at gmail.com.
That's awesome. And guys, if you want to get in contact with me to ask questions to Chad, I will be more than happy to do it. I do see him face to face at sometimes, and I do have direct contact with him through Facebook. So if you look, I'm about to burp all over myself. But check it out, guys. Just like I said, we will be at a lot of cons above my head, as you see right there. We'll be at Mystical Market not every Saturday, second Saturday, because I still do ghost hunt weekends, but there's a lot of things that are going on, and I'm trying to get back in there. I miss it so much; it's so crazy. But we want to say goodbye to Mr. Chad and thank him so much,
Thank you,
and
brother.
everybody. No, thank you. Just like I said, we'll be back on here again. You come up with some more. What we'll do is we'll come back on maybe. Well, hell, we'll come back on anytime we want. But open door policy, my man. But thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And brother, you have a great night, and we shall see you later. And guys, always and forever, stay spooky. Bye.